Welcome to Stoked Startups in the Prudential Center on the IDEO Network. This is your host, Aaron Sang.
And your co-host, Mike Schiemer, the working class hero, to add some muscle to your marketing.
Today we're going to talk about how Google acquires infrastructure startup Talaria. We're going to talk about Uber. We're going to be talking about the entrepreneurial age. And we're going to go into a topic that I don't know if we finished last time, but it has to do with legal entities to set up for your startup as well as documents.
I know what you think Google is going to use this primarily for in terms of making money. Is this going to help some of their websites that get enormous amounts of traffic on them? Because they have websites of all types on Google, and they have Blogger, so web hosting, they have everything. Or are they using this just to kind of get into a new industry because they're Google and they have the money and the resources to do so?
Well, I mean, I think it's multi-pronged. I think they're doing it for multiple reasons.
Yep.
Working with Talaria, it would allow Google to deliver a platform for its developers to use the languages they want to use.
Question, but it's not really a question because I'll tell you the answer. How many cab drivers and limo drivers do you think get full benefits and full health insurance and full pensions and everything? And I'm going to answer that and say probably not many or almost none. So I understand where they're coming from, that they're not getting these benefits and they're not getting taken care of, and maybe they're losing some percentages to the company overseeing them, and helping them with this business system. But you're a cab driver or a limo driver or a taxi driver, whatever, you're not, are you really going to expect, unless you're in a union or something, to be getting full benefits in every area, So I understand you got to protest and you got to try and get what your, your services, you think your services are worth, but
again, they're priced competitively to taxis.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's just a little more expensive than taxis. Also, there's more competitors. I know in Boston there's Halo Taxi, and there's other ones in other states. Lyft, Lyft, and Sidecar.
Yeah. Look, if I work at Subway and I'm making sandwiches 20, 30 hours a week or whatever, I'm not going to expect a stock option and premium health insurance. I mean, I'm not trying to put these drivers down or anything, but, I think this company is just trying to make a profit. And, they're trying to be competitive. They're trying to help out the drivers, but, you can't have everything. I mean, if they can do better than driving a taxi, a cab, or a limo, then they probably should do better. You know what I mean?
They also have Uber X, which is a hybrid fleet, which was launched in beta last fall, but only available to some select users.
Like hybrid cars?
Hybrid cars,
yeah.
Okay,
It's not even just
not even just town cars anymore, but all kinds.
Well, they have even Metro Cab, which my landlord's brother owns. I think they have. I think most of their cars are the Toyota Camry hybrids, which they get 40, 45 miles per gallon, which is great. So you see them all over Boston, and it's eventually that really helps to reduce costs. It helps to reduce emissions because they're driving around all day, every day, and all night. So
just get a bicycle. People should just get a bicycle.
Good point.
At least if they're in Boston.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
We're close to free.
Close to free. Yeah, close to free. All right. So there was an article on Venture Hacks called "The Entrepreneurial Age," and it's saying it's similar to the industrial age and the information age, but it's here right now. I guess it's focused on quality and scale. For those who don't know, scale is when you have, let's say you have a startup or a company, and you have only 20 users. If your company can scale efficiently, then you can handle those 20 users, or you can handle 6 million users with no problem to your bottom line, let's say. And that, in fact, it should benefit your bottom line.
Scale online is everything. It is absolutely everything, because you need massive quantity and quality in terms of traffic, in terms of followers, subscribers, readers, viewers, whatever. It doesn't matter. You need the traffic. You need the ad revenue. you need the customers, because unless you're selling a few small premium services or products online, then you're going to be getting most of your profits and most of your marketing from sheer volume. So, especially in media like we're in, you can't have like 2 viewers or 2 users. You need 2,000 or 200,000 or 2 million, and then you start getting
lots of money.
Yeah, you start getting the money. You start getting the notoriety or whatever. You have to scale, and as you do scale, you can't have slowdown on your websites.
Yep.
You can't have decrease in quality of content. You can't have reduced interaction quality, all that kind of stuff. So I think those are great points.
Actually, when we set this up, I did a lot of research myself on streaming applications, and a lot of streaming applications online, video streaming specifically, after a certain amount of watchers,
Yeah.
like people watching,
Mhm.
people viewing, total viewing hours or whatever they use, after a certain amount of that a month, they'd start charging you a fine or a fee.
Of course.
And that would hurt. That would hurt in terms of scale. So what I
Right.
found was, after researching for a while, I found one service that allows it so you can have as many users or viewers as you want, and it won't impact us, which is why I signed up for it, and this is why you're watching it on that service.
I like that. I think that's great. But also, the good thing, though, is that even if that was the case and you're scaling effectively your traffic and your viewers and your customers, and you have a good profit margin, then guess what? You can afford to pay, a small premium fee for a greater audience or greater speed or a smoother connection or a better server or something like that. If you need to scale, you might be making, if you go from 200 viewers to 2 million, but all of a sudden you're making thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, then guess what? You can pay an extra $50 a month for
your costs. Let's put it this way: the reason why I had an issue with it is even if that be the case,
Yep.
the rates would increase, right?
Right.
In general. So then you start getting fined more. Yeah, you can afford to pay that, but what if you don't have to pay that and you pay the steady monthly fee that you normally would? Then you make a ton of money. In other words, the costs become fixed rather than variable.
I like it. Well, I'm all for that. Trust me. I'm just saying. Usually, you could, take a small amount off the bottom line. But if there is a competitor like the one that you chose that doesn't have a variable cost, then you want to go with that one. You want to go with that one, and that's a good decision. So you take any chance out of it. So once you get to that level of success, you don't have to worry about paying anymore. So
now, quality is also an issue. With what we have right now, it's pretty decent. But let's say we want more customization in the video and all kinds of things we want to do with it. We're going to have to store it. We're going to have to serve it to many people at once. We probably want to use something like Brightcove. But currently, right now, Brightcove is not a viable option. It's too expensive to use. Or Akamai. But those are all, options in the future. Just like right now, we're just using a web hosting service that's fairly cheap and everyone knows about, which I'm not going to name. But later on, we would use something like Amazon or Rackspace.
Exactly. Hey, we'll name it if you pay us, but
right now,
no free shameless self promotion.
No free information.
I only do shameless self promotion for me.
Okay, so when we get back right after this break, we're going to talk about Clerky, Laudingo, and other startup documents and help that you can get to do your startup.
All right, we'll be right back.
what we're all about. Everybody do it together. Can you vibe to this? Ooh, my people ride to this. Can you vibe to this? Ooh, my people ride to this. Springtime ladies, bands from the 80s. I don't really care if you drive a Mercedes, but well, your daddy's got cash, so it looks like you're taking me out. I really love the way you're fitting in your candy pants. Let's turn this party into a freak show. Got a few mouths to feed, and a couple good jams is all that they need. And I got a few hearts to steal, fat grooves, flip the bad moves, and we make them all you, yo.
Your place.
My spot, we can turn heads in the parking lot, and they could call the cops, and we still won't stop. Nah, I said we still won't stop. Pretty girls rocking bands, raging like an 80s band. Let the music go on forever. Crank it up, play it loud. This is what we're all about. Everybody do it together. Can you vibe to this? Ooh, my people ride to this. Can you vibe to this? Ooh, my people ride to this. Can you vibe to this? Live life like this. Bring your good spirits on a night like this. Get on it. We rollin', keep the fire going till it's 6 in the morning. One motive, chill on now. Fill it up to the brim, let it spill on now. Crank it up till it's so damn loud. We are radical, up in the house. Come on. You know it's good. Pretty girl, let me talk to you if I could. You know it's right. Cause you got me so shook with those sexy eyes. You know it's good. Let me steal you a drink cause I think you should. You know it's right. Let me take you home tonight. Pretty girls rocking vans, raging like an 80s band. Let the music go on forever. Crank it up, play it loud. This is what we're all about. Everybody do it together. Can you vibe to this? Ooh, my people ride to this. Can you vibe to this? Ooh, my people ride to this.
And we're back. Welcome to Stoked Startups. This is Darren Sang.
Hey, and Mike Schiemer, how you doing?
So right now we're going to talk about legal documents that you need for your startup, as well as what kind of legal entity you should incorporate as. So you got sole proprietors, you got LLCs, LLPs, you got S Corps, C Corps. Not sure if we touched on this last time, but sole proprietorships. What do you do? Mike,
Yes.
you're a sole proprietorship, right?
I am. Well, I've been in LLC, but it was basically an LLC set up kind of like a sole proprietorship, just with a little bit of insurance. So yes, sole proprietor is kind of the first stage of owning your own business and being a business. You fill out you fill out and register a DBA, doing business as with your town or your state or your whatever
Municipality.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be more general. But then as you have employees or partners, or you have a whole corporation, then all of a sudden you step up to a partnership or an LLC or a corporation in legal terms.
Sure. So the whole thing about sole proprietorship, it's like if you want to sell lemonade and you just want to sell it, you don't want to worry about legal stuff, you just want to start. You start as a sole proprietor.
Mm-hmm.
But that basically means I'm going to business and I'm just going to start selling stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is, let's say someone drinks the lemonade and gets sick.
Yes.
They're probably going to sue you. and they can take away your home. They can take basically your personal assets are up for grabs.
Exactly.
Now that's why you want to incorporate as an LLC. It's really easy to set up.
You
and
can
it's really good for small
incorporate.
business.
No, you incorporate or you set up an LLC. Like, well, you can
Well,
do.
yeah, let me-
Okay,
So,
all right.
well, I mean, incorporate as an LLC or LLP if you have partners.
Yeah.
But the thing of that is that's better fit for small
Mhm.
small business. Like you want to be the restaurant down the street. Now, if you want to be a chain restaurant and get investment, you probably want to be a C corp or an S corp.
Yep.
The thing about C corps and S corps, you get taxed twice.
Oof.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Now, C corps are the best. I'm not so familiar with S corps because I don't play with them myself, but C corps you use for investment capital as well as multiple partners, as well as if you want to get your company one day to IPO, which is initial public offering,
Yep.
so you can be on the stock market. So those are the legal ones. You want to figure out what to incorporate as. Obviously, vary in cost. C corporations are best in Delaware, from what I understand.
Oh god, yeah. You can set them up in different. You can set up LLCs, LLPs, incorporations, in different states where they have different fees, different tax, different tax laws or rates. Like in Massachusetts, I'll just go off on a little tangent. I won't take too long, but Massachusetts, everything costs a fortune, which is why so many businesses end up going to other states or registering other states, or New Hampshire or Rhode Island. For example, an LLC, which I know from experience, unfortunately, is over $1,000 to start in Massachusetts. Could be well over $1,000 if you use a real life attorney. And every year it's over $500 to renew your LLC successfully. You know how much it costs in New Hampshire or Rhode Island? Maybe $50, $20. It's a joke, but this is Massachusetts. So, like you said, other people, while it might not be encouraged or even 100% legal, some people will look to other states to set up their corporations or LLCs.
And Delaware, I have familiarity with. Now, you can be taxed on the number of shares you have or the par value. Now, when you get your franchise tax from Delaware every year, you tend to freak out if you don't know about this fact because they'll charge you a lot of money. And then you Google it, and then you realize, hey, you can calculate it a different way and pay like a few $100 instead of $25,000
Wow.
or something ridiculous. So make sure you check that out. The two different ways you calculate franchise taxes for Delaware. But I definitely recommend people who are starting their tech startups to start as an LLC, and then as they're successful, they transfer all their assets to a C corp. That's in Delaware.
And let me just say, from personal experience, if you don't have a lot of assets of your own, a lot of personal assets, and you are starting a really small time sole proprietor type business, and you have minimal liability, you might not even want to do your LLC if it costs as much as it does in Massachusetts, because the odds are you're probably not going to get sued, and your assets are so low that is it really going to be worth the $2,000 that you spent to set up and maintain that LLC? So you have to weigh the pros and cons.
It also makes you look more legitimate, though,
It does.
I will say.
You're right.
And LLCs,
True.
I definitely recommend you doing it after you start making some money.
Yep.
At first, when you're just starting out, don't bother with it because it's just a waste of time. You should worry about selling your product or making it first.
Yeah, I got mine way too early before I even started making much money, and thousands of dollars I could have invested in infrastructure or advertising or equipment or technology. So that was just my 2 cents. We're not all as rich as Dimitri over there, who's got several S corps. He's got like 5
He's
IPOs.
got Russian oil money.
Of course, that's why I spend all my time here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you have other people running all your businesses.
Of course.
You have Dimitri Enterprises and Dimitri LLC, Dimitri Incorporated. So, anyways, that's enough of my little joke.
All right, so in terms of legal documents, there's some places you can find online to help you set up shop. Now, one website is called Clerky. It's kind of brand new. It helps startups get legal stuff done right and fast. You can
Nice.
generate documents and sign stuff electronically and keep yourself organized. It charges $99 for incorporation.
That's pretty
$300
good.
bucks for post incorporation, not including third-party fees like state filing fees and whatnot.
Yeah, those can be huge.
I wish I
as
knew
we went
about this
over.
earlier, or I would have gone. We would have gone into this rather than paying an attorney ourselves.
Right, right. Everyone makes the same mistakes because they don't, most people don't specialize in, in business or corporate law. This is some confusing stuff, and it's state to state, and it's ridiculous.
Be
So-
careful with attorneys. I mean, they'll all say they can help you, but Google will help you more. And
They
unless
can
you have a
help
lot
you.
of capital, no, they
Yeah,
can. And
no,
they can
I'm
also-
saying they can help you be bankrupt
yeah, they're
because
really
of their
good at that.
their fees are very
and then
large.
they can help you be more bankrupt after they help you enter bankruptcy.
They can help you help them with buying their new yacht.
So don't trust them. So there's this website called Law Dingo. It's a startup that helps you talk to lawyers instantly, and it just joined Y Combinator. Y Combinator is run by Paul Graham, one of the best startup people known in
in the
Silicon
entire
Valley.
world.
I guess so, yeah, pretty much. So I guess the way this works is you can find profiles online and see what kind of fees they offer, and it's kind of like a remote cloud-based service for legal expertise, and they're all expensive anyways.
And look, I could go on for hours about this kind of stuff I'll just say, I'll go on for minutes instead. I'll say that myself and the Big Sauce, we got some of our LLCs set up with like LegalZoom and other types of kind of outsourcing legal services, and those are much cheaper than going through an attorney. Of course, sometimes you get what you pay for. They've made many mistakes for me in the past. I think they made my LLC
LegalZoom, you mean?
LegalZoom.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because it's a similar service.
Sure.
In a lot of ways, it's much cheaper than going through an attorney. But for my LLC, they actually set it up in Dallas, Texas, or something like
They
that.
did it the wrong way.
So they screwed up big time. I ended up getting a full refund, but I owed franchise taxes to Results Private Fitness LLC in Austin, Texas, or something. I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I mean, sometimes the lower prices you get some lower quality legal work done, but other times you get the exact same legal service for maybe 50% of the cost. So I think it's phenomenal that they're outsourcing, some of these legal services like incorporation and LLC formation and so forth, with Clerky, with LegalZoom, with all these other services. And guess what? The industry now, it's standard to outsource everything. I worked for a law firm, and every law firm is trying to look at the bottom line, and they outsource as much as they can to India or another company that will do the processing work or the paperwork or the at least the menial tasks to get that done as cheaply as possible. And then the attorneys, guess what? They look over it for 2 minutes, and boom, that's it. That's all they do. They charge you whatever their rate, $300 an hour, $400 an hour.
There's nothing better than having a friend that's a corporate attorney.
Exactly.
To save a lot of money.
Absolutely. But I mean, honestly, like some of these clerky sites and LegalZoom and everything else we talked about, you end up getting maybe 90% of the same exact services as if you paid a big name attorney to do the work. So I think it's great. It gives the average mom and pop shop or average startup a chance to get these things done officially, register with the governments, and get insured without having to basically spend all their investment capital on it.
So let's talk a little bit about. Okay, so there's another website. It's in businessinsider.com/document-center. Now, a lot of these documents are there. It's not that for their primary business. Although one or two of them they actually charge you $30 for, but otherwise, I mean, they have business plan templates for the executive summary, sample bylaws. Bylaws are the rules and regulations that your company is run by, that you set. There's financial model, which obviously you should have, stock purchase agreements, vesting agreements, joint venture agreement, stock subscription agreement, non-disclosure, investor rights agreement, consulting services, and outsourcing agreement. So there's a bunch of them right there. They're mostly free that are very useful.
Those are extremely useful and very critical because, like I was talking about earlier, it costs a fortune to get these things drawn up by, to hire an attorney to draw these things up. And in the end, 90% of the time, they are going to be almost identical to these documents that you can get for free or for a very low cost. So, and if you do these wrong, if you try and write these up yourself and you screw up, then, you might have signed away your whole company or signed away your assets or signed away your equity in the company, something like that, because you tried to make it yourself. So it's great to have these guidelines and these templates at least.
Okay, so we're going to take a break, and afterwards we're going to do Dimitri's Tech Talk.
All right.
All right?
Looking forward to it.
every gallon sound. When I thought you were the one, you lifted me up just to break me down. Baby, please won't you bring me back into your heart? You, my back's old man. I've seen you with every gallon sound. And I thought you were the one. Lift me up just to break me down. Baby, please won't you let me back into your heart?
Got problems, wanna get away. Take some vodka, mix it in your lemonade. Can't solve them all, but it's okay. You gotta be your best friend every day. Got problems,
Wanna get away?
take some vodka.
Mix it in your lemonade.
Can't solve them all,
But it's okay.
you gotta be your best friend every day. And every day, and every day, and every day.
Life gives you lemons, put some vodka in your lemonade, lemonade, lemonade. I'll give you some sugar, put some sweetness in your lemonade, lemonade, lemonade. Took a trip to the valley, you don't seem happy with yourself.
Yeah, with yourself.
Say your day's real crappy and bad shit's happening. I say what else?
Say what else?
So you broke your nail today. Money's low, you'll be okay.
Be okay.
You don't gotta worry about getting paid. Oh, every day.
And every day, and every day, and every day.
When life gives you lemons, put some vodka in your lemonade, lemonade, lemonade. I'll give you some sugar, put some sweetness in your lemonade, lemonade, lemonade.
Just got home from work, strolling on in with your feelings all hurt. Like, why's it always happen to me? Well, it's not cause you happen to be unlucky, and trust me, don't be outraged. Life is like a movie and you're looking like an outtake. You can still find beauty and de-stress. Relax and take a deep
When
breath.
life gives you lemons, put some vodka in your lemonade, lemonade, lemonade. I'll give you some sugar, put some sweetness in your lemonade, lemonade, lemonade.
And we're back. Welcome to Stoked Startups. Dimitri's gonna do his tech talk.
Woo! All right, let's do this. All right, so first topic is your favorite Google Glasses.
Oh no.
We all know how much you love them, but it's going to be a little difficult now because it's the age of creep shots.
What do you mean?
Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Google Glasses allows you to take pictures and video
Wow.
without pushing anything, without pushing a button, pretty much like blinking.
Jeez.
So now people are going to be taking pictures, creep shots, recording videos of people walking by.
Yeah.
Mostly girls are going to be the subject of these pictures and videos.
So Dimitri,
Of course.
these glasses sound a little bit more advanced than the ones I buy at the dollar store. Is that correct?
Just a little bit. So they're not going to be $1, but there could be a little bit pricier than that.
And my normal glasses that are held together by dollar store super glue. All right, sorry.
It could be duct tape.
Yeah, that's true.
So
right.
primarily, it's going to be Google Glasses is going to be useful because if you haven't seen the videos, you can overlay information from the internet on your reality.
Jeez.
So I could look at Mike
amazing.
and see all his Facebook and Twitters and every
No
single
way.
account he
No,
has,
no, no
but
technology
it would
could
block
ever
my
see.
view.
No technology could ever see all my junk because there's just too much garbage out there that I put out.
I know that would definitely help me remember people's names. That's where I find it useful.
Eventually, everybody will have one, and it'll be cool, but creepy at the same time.
These sound like
Yeah,
superhero glasses.
They pretty much are.
Like your Iron Man.
As
Yeah.
long as it
Or your
doesn't become
Batman.
like what do you call it? Like Bluetooth headsets, because
Oh.
everyone hates those.
No, but
Dangerous.
this is like the most versatile piece of equipment I've ever heard of. But they're just very valuable, and if you break them, and if they get stolen, that's all I think about. But I think.
But eventually they're not going to be 15. Oh, how much are they?
They're
15?
1,500 right
Right,
now.
Yeah, they're not going to
Absolutely.
They'll be like a couple hundred.
Right now,
in
they're
a
just
couple
giving
years.
it out to
Yes.
developers, people
Yeah.
who want to build stuff, which is why I want one.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's true. You're right. The price will come down.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll come down.
And it'll be readily available. You can walk down to Best Buy and buy them for a couple hundred.
It'll
And
be like part of your cell phone.
yeah,
Someday-
exactly. It'll probably be your cell phone eventually.
Well, I think
Yeah.
cell phones personally are going to be all the glass and everything. It's going to be flexible,
Yep.
and it'll be like a watch or
I'm
on your
waiting for
hand
that day when
or
they're
part
flexible
of your clothes, and the glasses will just be a part of it. They'll connect
Yep.
together and work together.
Well, they're working on the flexible glass now, so
Yep.
eventually it'll
Exactly.
be in the phones. Anyway, so next one. Dropbox bought Mailbox. Mailbox is an iOS app with 250,000 users, and Dropbox just bought it. It's only for iOS. It says it was impressed by how Mailbox actually delivered on its promise to simplify mail and wants to bring that goodness to Dropbox users everywhere. So Dropbox is getting bigger and bigger and buying more and more stuff.
And will Google end up buying it at the end?
It might be, because Dropbox is really popular, so
Yeah.
it just might be.
Can I ask a question? How I don't use Dropbox as much as I should. I really should be using it more. But how do they monetize that? Do they have premium services? Do they have advertising networks on their
There-
sites? What do they do?
There are 3 different options available, 3 or 4, I believe. The first one is free,
Okay.
2 gigabytes.
Oh, right.
And you can do more things to add more
Mhm.
space.
Like
so if
sharing
you,
it,
yep,
social
if you share it
viral
on
things.
Twitter, on Facebook, you get 250 megabytes.
I have
I-
30.
I did-
you have
I did
30,
do
yeah,
that.
So
But they have an enormous amount of paying subscribers, is what I'm saying.
Well, companies use them too to share
Right.
things
yeah,
across.
there's a Dropbox Team, I believe,
Yep.
option available where it's like 1 terabyte of information.
Yeah.
It's stored anywhere, and you can share with anybody you want.
All right, all
But
right.
so what does this mailbox
Good.
actually do? It makes it so email attachments are easier with Dropbox?
Yeah, it's basically a mail app. So, for example, I know I have at least 7 or 8 email accounts,
Sure.
and it takes all those, makes it nice and yeah. I know, Mike, you have
At
like
least.
30,
I laugh at your 7 or 8 email addresses.
maybe 10. I don't know, but maximum 10. But anyway, so it collects all of them together, makes it one simple app for all of them. You can access all of them through one app, and it's very useful actually.
So this is what I do with Gmail. I have, I think, like 9 different emails that I
Yeah.
need to use all the time. So rather than signing in, signing out, signing in, signing out, I have them all connected.
Yep, I have my phone.
Can't you
doing
do
that.
them forwarding, like auto forwarding?
Yeah,
to
use
the same?
SMTP or
Yeah.
POP3 or whatever to connect all the accounts so that when one of your accounts get emailed, it goes to your primary one,
Okay.
while it's being labeled as that other account, which
Yep.
is great.
Oh, yes.
And I can also mail out with that account, even though I'm using my primary one, which is great.
Not bad, not bad.
So, Dimitri, anything else?
I got a few other ones. Let's see here. Google is killing off Google Reader.
Oh yeah, that actually was an outrage for me. But good thing.
Do you use it really?
I use something called Feedly and
I know about that.
Pulse.
Yep.
And those two are kind of good replacements for Google Reader. And Feedly recently said that they're going to have seamless integration. So when Google Reader actually disappears, Feedly's going to probably be the big one.
Let's see. RSS Reader will be turned off for good on July 1st, 2013. So you have a few months to figure out what you're going to do next.
That doesn't bother me one bit. Google Reader disappearing because
I've
there's
never
so
actually
many
used it,
there's
so.
so many
Yeah, not everyone
reading platforms
Yep.
and so many RSS readers or like aggregation sites. You can do this on any site for free anywhere, and
The only
it's close enough.
The only thing I think,
So-
sorry about interrupting, but
No,
the only thing I
okay.
like about, the only thing that's good about Google Reader is you can aggregate them into one link, so you can share
Yeah.
that link, and you can get data on how much you read. So for my 93 subscriptions over the last 30 days, I've read 225 items, clicked one item, star 15,
Ooh.
and emailed 0.
Smarty pants.
Since November 30th, 2008, I've read a total of 10,782 items. Wow, I read a lot.
Brainiac.
Well, I don't read books anymore. I just kind of use Feedly,
Books.
to be honest.
Books. Who reads
Paper.
books? I know, it's ridiculous. You know, when you can read ebooks like The Frugal Diet on Amazon.com on your Kindle or mobile device or tablet.
Okay, so in the next few weeks, we're going to have a James Daniel, who's the lead developer of Raise Labs, which is the best mobile development app company in Boston. So till next week, this is Stoked Startups, your host Aaron Sang,
And Mike Schiemer and Dimitri. See you next week.
See you next week.